Welcome friends. Today topic is energy scenario. Energy is one of the major input for the economic development of any country. In the case of developing countries, the energy sector assumes critical importance in view of the ever increasing energy needs, requiring huge investment to meet them. The consumption of energy is increasing at a fast pace while available resources remain limited. The global need for energy is increasing on an average by about 2.4% every year. Out of the total amount of primary energy, over 85% comes from fossil fuels. The current consumption of fossil fuels, particularly oil, is not sustainable in long term. Energy consumption also have a significant impact on our natural environment. There is clear evidence that climate change is caused by human activity, mostly related to the use of energy. Then energy that we use can be classified into several types based on following criteria. One is primary and secondary energy. Second one is commercial and non-commercial energy. Third, renewable and non-renewable energy. Then explain one by one. Primary and secondary energy. Primary energy refers to all type of energy extracted or captured directly from natural sources. Primary energy can be further divided into two distinctive groups. Those are renewable and non-renewable. Renewable, under the renewable, solar, wind, geothermal, tidal, biomass, hydel, etc. And non-renewable, fossil fuels, crude oil and its products, coal, natural gas, nuclear, etc. The primary energy content of all fuel is generally expressed in terms of ton of oil equivalent and is based the following conversion factor. The factor is 1 ton of oil equivalent is 1 in 10 to the power 7 kilocalories, which is equal to 41868 megajoules. Then the primary energy sources are mostly converted into industrial utilities into secondary energy sources. For example, coal, oil or gas converted into steam and electricity. These steam and electricity are called secondary energy resources. The major primary and secondary energy resources are shown in the figure. Here three stages are there. One is extraction and treatment, then processing and final output. In extraction stage, the gas well, coal mine, crude oil well, uranium mine. Those are the mine units. Then processing, gas well treatment process and coal mine washing process, crude oil refining process and uranium enrichment process. From that gas well we get natural gas, from coal mine we get coal, and from crude oil plant we get LPG, petrol, diesel and petrochemical products. And uranium processing we get uranium, in this pass to the nuclear power plant we get electricity. And similar that natural gas also we have steam and electricity, and in coal plant we have steam and electricity, and in crude oil we get petrol and diesel and petrochemical, which is used for domestic purpose and transportation purposes. Here I mentioned primary energy and secondary energy stages. Okay. Then commercial or non-commercial energy. Energy that is available in the market for a definite price is known as commercial energy. Example, electricity, lignite, coal, oil, natural gas, petrol, diesel, kerosene, those are. And non-commercial energy, any kind of energy which is sourced within a community and it is surrounded area and which is not normally traded in a commercial market is termed as non-commercial energy. The example for this is firewood and agro waste in rural areas, solar energy for water heating and lifting water for irrigation, and animal power of transport. Okay, then renewable and non-renewable energies. Renewable energy is the energy obtained from natural sources which are essentially inaccessible. The examples are wind power, solar power, geothermal, tidal power is represented below the figure. And non-renewable energy sources is a natural resource which cannot be produced, ground, replenished or used on a scale which can sustain its consumption rate. The example for this is fossil fuels, coal, nuclear, natural gas. Those are the example for the non-renewable energy sources. Okay, then we go for the next topic: global primary energy reserves and commercial energy production. Reserves means energy resource, and production means the produce energy from that particular reserve. How much energy is produced? For example, crude oil is there, is a reserve, and how much amount of petrol and diesel is produced from the reserve is a production. Okay, this is a difference for reserve and energy production. Then the primary energy reserve is directly converted to the commercial energy production. Commercial already we know what is commercial energy. Okay, and the figure shows the formation of coal from the natural wood and trees and other products. First you convert peat and lignite and coal from the application of pressure and heat and time, with respect to time. And coal is the most abundant and geographically dispersed fossil fuel. The various types are peat, brown coal, bituminous, and anthracite. It has been estimated that there are around 892 billion tons of proven coal reserves are worldwide. The proved coal reserves are shown for anthracite and bituminous and subbituminous and lignites. There is enough coal to last around 113 years at current rate of production. Okay, coal reserves are available in almost every country worldwide, with recoverable reserve in around 75 countries. The largest coal reserves are available in the USA, followed by Russia, China, Australia, and India. Okay, then the important definition is here, reserve per production ratio. If the reserve remaining at the end of the year are divided by the production in the year, the result is then length of time that remaining reserve would last if production were continue at that level. Okay, next, global primary energy coal production, proven coal reserve by country by end of 2013. Then the top coal producers in million of tons by the end of 2013. The formation of oil is shows below. Tiny sea plants and animals died and were buried on the ocean floor. Over a time, they were converted by a layer of silt and sand. Over a million of years, the remains were buried deeper and deeper. The environment heat and pressure turns them into oil and gas. Today we drill down the layers of sand, silt and rock to reach the rock formation that contain oil and gas deposits. Okay. Then the global proven oil reserve was estimated to be 1687.9 billion barrels by the end of 2013. Almost 48% of proven oil reserve are in Middle East. Saudi Arabia has the largest share of reserve with 15.8%. Top proven world oil reserves are shown in table. 1 barrel is equal to 160 liters. Saudi Arabia was the largest oil producer in the world, followed close by Russian Federation and the US. Although the United States ranked third in terms of oil production, it only ranks 10th in terms of proven oil reserves. The top oil producing countries in 2013 are tabulated below. India's share is 42 million tons and share of total is 1%. Actually, for the natural gas. Natural gas is a gaseous fossil fuel consisting primarily of methane but also includes small quantities of ethane, propane, butane and pentane. Before natural gas can be used as a fuel, it undergoes extensive processing for removing almost all constituents except methane. Natural gas resources are large, but like oil, they are highly concentrated in a few countries and fields. The global proved gas reserve are estimated to be around 186 trillion cubic meters by the end of 2013. This is equal to around 55 years of current production. Iran has a large share of reserve, followed by Russia and Qatar. India has only about 0.7% of global natural reserves. The global distribution of proved national gas reserves in table below. Okay, then we conclude at current R by P ratio means reserve divided by production ratio in years. World oil and gas reserves are estimated at just 53 years and 55 years respectively. Coal is likely to last for 113 years. Then we go to the next topic, global primary energy consumption. Global primary energy consumption at the end of 2014 was equivalent to 12730 million tons of oil equivalent. The share of oil is largest at 33% of, followed by coal and natural gas with 30% and 24% respectively. The demand for natural gas is future will increase and industrialized countries take strong action to cut CO2 emissions. The below table shows the breakup of various constitution of primary energy consumption worldwide in form of million tons of oil equivalent. Then the primary energy consumption for some of developed and developing countries are shown in the table. It may be seen that India's absolute primary energy consumption is only about 4.7% of the world, 26% of USA and 21% of China's consumption. Then we go for the final energy consumption. The final energy is the form of energy available to end user following conversion from primary energy. The industrial consumes 50% of energy, transportation consumes 20% of energy, and residential 18% of energy, and commercial 12% of energy. Okay, then we come with Indian energy scenario. The annual energy consumption in India is 595 million tons oil equivalent compared with the world energy consumption of 12730 million tons of oil equivalent in 2013. Coal dominates the energy production mix in India, contributing to about 55% of total primary energy production over the years 2008 to 2013. There has been gradual increase in the share of natural gas in primary energy production and small drop in share of oil in primary energy production. The share of commercial energy in the total primary energy consumption is about of 74% and share of non-commercial energy in total primary energy consumption is 26%. The primary energy consumption mix in India for 2009 is given table for your reference. Then we go for the sector-wise energy consumption. The industry sector consumes about almost 44% of total commercial energy consumption, followed by transport. The specific energy consumption of major industry sector in India is much higher compared to global benchmarks. Reference of the below table. With ever increasing energy cost, it is more important to improve the energy efficiency of manufacturing process in major industries and small enterprises. In the cement sector, for example, the specific energy consumption of the most efficient plant is now comparable to the best in the world. However, much of the Indian industrial output is derived from small and medium industries operated with the inefficient equipment, whereas has been difficult to implement efficiency improvements. Okay, then energy needs of growing economy. Economic growth is desirable for developing countries and energy is essential for economic growth. However, the relationship between economic growth and increased energy demand is not always straightforward linear one. The massive investment in energy sector is required to deliver a sustained GDP growth rate of 8% till the year of 2031 to 32. The requirement of energy sectors are growth in primary energy supply by 3 to 4 times over current consumption, increase in electricity installed capacity by 6 to 7 times, increase in annual coal requirement by nearly 3 times over the current demand. Then, as for the electricity consumption is concerned, India has reached a level of about 917 kilowatt hours per person per year in the year of 2012 to 13. The comparable figure for Japan is 7848, for China 3298, for USA 13246, for UK 6206, for Canada 16473, and the world average is 2430. Thus, India's per capita electricity consumption is much less than many countries and much less than the world average. Then energy intensity and purchasing power parity. Energy intensity is the ratio between the gross inland consumption of energy and gross domestic product for a given calendar year. It measures the energy consumption of economy and its overall energy efficiency. The GDP figures are taken at the constant price to avoid the impact of inflation in relation to the base year. Since gross inland consumption is measured in ton of oil equivalent and GDP in millions of US dollar, this ratio is expressed in ton of oil equivalent per million US dollar. Then energy intensity is equal to fixed total final consumption divided by gross domestic products. Fixed cost, consumption in the form in the unit of consumption is ton of oil equivalent, and GDP in the form of US dollars. A low energy intensity would indicate that the country has a right mix of industry sector wise. An economy dominated by heavy industrial production, for instance, is more likely to have a higher energy intensity than the one where the service sector is dominant. If the energy efficiency of the two countries are identical, likewise, a country that relies on trade to acquire carbon intensive goods will, when all other factors are equal, have lower energy intensity than countries that manufacture the same goods for export. Although energy use generally increases as the economy grows, continuing improvement in energy efficiency of nation's economy and shift to less intensive activities are projected to keep the rate of energy consumption growth lower than the rate of GDP growth. The next topic is energy security. Here some of strategies that can be used to meet future energy requirement includes: the first category is reducing energy requirement, improving the energy efficiency of extraction of fossil fuels, improving fuel efficiency of new coal-fired power plant to adopting new technology, that is supercritical pulverized fuel fire boilers, and adopting energy efficiency and demand side management, and promotion of public transport, mass transport, and developing renewable energy sources, especially solar and wind. Substituting imported oil gas with domestic alternatives, ethanol, biodiesel as substitute for petrol diesel, biomass gasification for heat and power as alternative to gas coal, and coal to oil technology as done in South Africa. Then energy conservation and its importance. Coal and other fossil fuels have taken hundreds of millions of years to form and are likely to deplete soon. In the last 200 years, we have consumed 60% of all resources for sustainable development. We need to adopt energy efficient measures. Today, 80% of India's primary energy comes from non-renewable and fossil sources. These reserves are continuously diminuting with increased consumption and will not exist for future generation. Energy efficiency is often viewed as a resource option like coal, oil, or natural gas. It provides additional economic value for preserving the resource base and reducing pollution. For example, replacing incandescent lamp with LEDs will require 1/8 of energy to light room. Pollution level also reduced by the same amount is shown in the figure. Then the final topic is benefits of energy efficiency. Industrial sector, national sector, global sector. In industrial sector, reduce energy bills, increase productivity and improve quality. In nation, reduce energy imports, avoid cost can be used for poverty reduction and improved energy security. In global point of view, reduce the GHG emission, greenhouse gas emission, and maintain sustainable environment. Thank you.